Hi, folks. Welcome back to Heard It on the X, the East Coast premier music talk show. It was about a year ago, and if you're a fan of the show, you know that we were able to see the living legend Bret Michaels perform, and he blew me away. His live performance blew me away. I had to put it in, the top 3 performances that I've ever seen. December 15th at Niagara Falls, Rapids Theater, which is one of our favorite venues. Our good friend Ross, who's joining me right now, is the promoter from Back to Back Entertainment. Ross, you're bringing Bret in, right?
Yeah, thanks, Rich, again for having me on the show. We're really proud to bring Bret Michaels back to the Buffalo area. Rapids Theater is just it's the gem of upstate New York right now, and he's absolutely going to love playing this venue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And joining us right now, musician, diabetes advocate, actor, entrepreneur, father, great American, and in my opinion, the original American badass, Mr. Bret Michaels. Are you there, Bret?
Rich, I am here, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, bro. And you're coming up December 15th, a great Christmas gift for people, up to Niagara Falls at Rapids Theater.
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, first of all, and hey, Ross, how are you doing today? All good?
Very good, Bret, man. Thank you so much for doing this for us.
You're welcome. Well, I want to tell you guys, first of all, not only, I think everyone knows that I love coming to the Buffalo area and playing the Rapids Theater up in Niagara Falls is going to be absolutely great. And everybody I've spoke to about this venue said it's unbelievable. You've got to play there. And so, again, I'm always thankful because people forget, and always forget this in the music business, there's a whole lot of us that have to work together to make a show work. And it's radio, it's the promoter, it's myself. And you want to go up there, and the only thing that matters at the end, when it all boils down, is you put on an amazing show, and the fans get rocked. You want the fans to have an awesome time, and I got to see you one time earlier this year. I was there with Motley Crue and Poison, had an amazing, amazing time in the area. And every time we come through there for the last, I want to say, 20-some years of my career, I've never had a bad time in the Buffalo area. We've always had great times. A lot of my friends come up and family come up from Pittsburgh and different places and Cleveland, and all come to the show, and it's going to rock. And I get to play what I always make sure people know with the solo music. Not only do I get a chance to play stuff from all the solo records and the Celebrity Apprentice, the Rock of Love show music I've done, shows I've done music for, but I get to play all the Poison songs. I get to play all those hits. I add some other stuff. But a Bret Michaels show is a party. You know what I mean? It's a party. You get to have a great time, and that's what it's all about.
Bret, your shows are amazing, man. I'm not kidding around. Kim and I were lucky enough to see you. And if you're a fan of the Heard It on the X show, you know that Kim Marie is the producer of the show, and she is all things Bret Michaels. As a matter of fact, Kim Marie is responsible for the Western New York area selling out of Troparaca when it was first offered, Bret. I have to tell you this.
God.
And
We'll love you for that.
You want to know something? She actually went to a local store, local supermarket chain, Wegmans. In our area, it was only available, I think, at Walmart. So she went to Wegmans and actually requested that they bring in Troparaca. So she's all things Bret Michaels. And we went and seen your show. Your show was stellar, man. I mean, you're just on. I don't know where you get this energy from because you're into everything. But your show blew me away. The band was killer. You were killer. I mean, it was just a really great, good rock and roll time, man.
Thank you. And that's what for me, I can tell you this. I think where it comes from, honestly, besides that passion, what happens is I get on that stage, and I say this, I'm still as passionate today as the first day I ever went out there and started playing music. And I think that's the big difference between when you go see a band play and you watch someone, and let's be very honest, there's bands that play that have that passion, and there's a few we've all seen play that are going through the motions. And I think you really, when you go see a band and they believe in what they're doing and they're having a great time, obviously you want it to sound good and be a big show, but that passion, that energy comes from my heart, my soul, and that's what I lay out there on the stage every night.
Yeah, and you're passionate, but you are just someone who cares about people, and you really care about your fans. I was telling Ross, the show that we seen you at, it was a really hot night, it was a hot show, and you actually sent one of your guys back to your truck to bring water out. You were handing water out to the crowd. I mean, you are a very special person, man.
Thank you. And I remember exactly what you're talking about. I'll never forget. It was hot. It was oversold. If I remember correctly, the place was oversold, and I just said, "Listen, these fans are up here, they're rocking, but they need something." And we just went under. We went under the buses and under the whatever we had available. Just bring it in here and give it to everybody.
Yeah, that was
because and thank you for mentioning that, because I didn't do it for any other reason other than I cared about the fans. I didn't want them passing out. I wanted to have a great time.
No, and you want to know something else too, and then I'm going to turn it over to Ross. But I got to say this too, because one, the show impressed me. Two, it was oversold. I mean, and no offense to the club, whatever the case may be, it was packed. But anybody else would have somebody other than you, somebody that didn't want to handle things or didn't care about their fans, that could have turned into a real disaster. Because of you and because you do care about your fans, it turned out to be a memorable show for all the people that were there, 1,500 people, 1,800 people, whatever was there. That was a really memorable show because of you. And I want to thank you for that, because it reinstills, what we're all passionate about, and that's rock and roll. And great rock and roll performers are great rock and roll performers, man.
Well, thank you again for saying that. And like I said, when we come back this time, the fact that we get to play the Rapids Theater, we're going to have the same party, the same vibe, and the fact that it's an unbelievably awesome place to play, and it'll be my first time playing on that stage. And like I said, I just want fans to know that we try to mix up the set. We bring different stuff, but they always get to hear the hits, and they get to hear energy, and then they'll get to hear a couple of the new songs, mix it with the Poison hits and some cover stuff. But when they leave, it's an absolute party. And and I wanted to say one thing too, for the Troparaca video that we're shooting. We're going to shoot some pieces of it, hopefully that night, if everything with the Rapids Theater is fine. We're going to shoot like a little clip with all the fans' hands in the air for the new Troparaca. It's now officially one of their mainstay drinks and one of their 3 top-selling drinks for Dr. Pepper Snapple.
And congratulations on that, and that's excellent. And once again, Ross, this is, I mean, because Kim, Josh, Kim's sons have type 1 diabetes. Josh and Tyler have type 1 diabetes. This is a diet Snapple drink that Bret actually designed. Made the flavor himself. If you watch The Apprentice, The Celebrity Apprentice, and it's for that market. I mean, so this is just a great person, man.
No, and that's awesome too. And Bret, that makes me look great that you're planning on doing something like that at the venue itself. So they'll be very happy about that.
And the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, the cat's. Well, we were going to announce something that night, but sometimes when people know, they come out there, they're like, now I want to get there. I want to, and it brings that level too. Like I said, it's the way you come on stage and you approach music, and you for me, when I look at it, you go out there, and everything that you do to get to that moment, when you finally get to walk on that stage, I can't explain the energy, but everything you might keep bottled up, every bit of what rock and roll is supposed to be, which is a release, that's what happens. When I hit that stage, I'm like, it's good to be alive. It's good to be up here rocking, and fans of 3 generations of fans now have given me 25 years being able to do what I love, and that's what it boils down to. I'm thinking, this is an awesome day. The fans have been great. I get to see them hopefully a couple times each year, and that's an amazing feeling.
No, that is great. And, the rock and roll catalog, what you've done speaks for itself, but just what you do outside of music, like spending this Thanksgiving with some of the troops here, our American heroes. Tell us a little bit about what you did for the start of the holidays there.
Really simple, and I know that this is going to sound crazy. We did Thanksgiving, and what I do every year is on the I went to Iraq and Afghanistan and Kuwait a couple years ago and played at all the forward operating bases. My entire family has served in the military at some point or another, and so I do a lot of stuff for the troops, whether it is or isn't for getting to play. We go out, we meet them. I took the band overseas and we played, and then this year I spent actual Thanksgiving Day itself coming from Charlotte, North Carolina, and went to Nashville, where I spent the day with Loretta Lynn, and she was absolutely great, the coal miner's daughter herself, and we wrote some music together, which was unbelievable.
That's cool.
And then I went back. It was great.
I mean, that's really cool, man.
It's a good day. And she is. I can tell you this much. When you talk about people that are sincere about who they are and passionate, this woman has had an unbelievable career, unbelievable. And she was as fun and played and energetic. And then we ended up at the end of the night just hanging around, writing music and playing songs. It was great. And then I went back and flew back into Arizona, and got to meet a bunch of the troops that are ready to deploy to go overseas, and it was great to meet them all, and some of our best men and finest men and women getting ready to deploy that will be spending their holidays in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I said, at least I can do is stop and say hello and take some pictures and have a great time.
Excellent, excellent. And they're hanging out with Loretta Lynn. We're just going to take a small commercial break and come back on the other side with a little more Bret Michaels. Stick around, folks.